Hey guys, Darby back at you. Another story. It was late November in the UP of Michigan. Snow already deep enough to swallow your boots. And the cold so sharp it felt like breathing glass. I'd drawn a tag for a remote chunk of state land north of Marquette, miles from any road, no cell service, just me, my old 30-06, and a pack heavy with gear for 3 days. I was after a big buck I glassed the year before, one with a rack that looked like it belonged on a wall, not still walking around. I hiked in at first light, following an old logging two-track that petered out into nothing. By noon, I was set up on a ridge overlooking a frozen cedar swamp. Wind was dead. Everything was dead quiet except the crunch of my own breathing. Around dusk, I saw him. Not the buck I wanted, something else. His shape moving through the cedars, too tall for prey deer, moving on two legs but hunched. I thought bear at first, standing bare, but the silhouette was wrong. Long limbs, antlers that spread wider than any whitetail I'd ever seen. And it wasn't walking like an animal, it was stalking, deliberate, like it knew exactly where the wind was coming from. I eased up the rifle, thumbed the safety off, threw the scope. It resolved into something that made my mouth go dry. It looked like a deer that had been stretched and starved and then stitched back together wrong, ribs showing through patchy gray hide, legs too long, ending in hooves that were split like they'd been cracked open. The head was the worst, a buck skull, but the eyes weren't set right. They were too far forward, almost human positioned. And they glowed dull yellow in the fading light. Antlers weren't antlers anymore. They looked fused to the bone, like they'd grown straight out of the skull without shedding. It stopped, turned, looked straight at me across 400 yards of open snow. I should have shot. I didn't. My finger just locked on the trigger guard. Then it spoke. Not out loud, inside my head. A voice like branches snapping underfoot. Like meat tearing slow. You're not the first one out here with a gun. My heart slammed so hard I tasted copper. I blinked. When I looked again through the scope, it was closer to me. Impossibly closer. Maybe 100 yards now. Stepping through snow without leaving tracks. I lowered the rifle, fumbled for my knife instead. Stupid instinct. That's when I heard the second voice, not in my head this time, or behind me. A soft, wet, familiar. Dad? My father died 6 years ago. Heart attack in the garage while I was at work. I'd identified the body. I buried him. But that was his voice, exactly. The way he used to call me when I was late coming in from the woods as a kid. I whipped around, nothing but trees and snow. When I turned back, the thing was gone. I sat there until full dark, shaking, telling myself it was hypothermia, exhaustion, anything but what I'd seen. Eventually I packed up and started the long hike out. Flashlight beam jittering ahead. Halfway back to the truck I found the cabin. I'd never seen it before. Small, rotting logs, moss thick on the roof, no trail leading to it, door hanging open. Inside, a single candle burned on the table, fresh wax, flame steady, no wind inside. On the table, my father's old hunting knife, the one he'd given me when I was 12, the one I lost 2 seasons ago in a different county. Next to it, a fresh deer heart, still steaming, carved into the wood of the table, shallow but clear. Stay. I ran. I don't remember most of the hike out, just falling, getting up, snow in my mouth, my own sobbing breath. When I finally hit the truck at 2 a.m., the doors were unlocked. Though I'd locked them, the keys were in the ignition. It was blood on the steering wheel, not a lot, just enough to smear when I grabbed it. I drove straight through to dawn. Didn't stop until I hit pavement and cell service. I haven't hunted since. Sometimes when the wind dies and the woods go quiet, I still hear it. Not my dad's voice anymore, just the snap of branches and something breathing, patient, waiting for me to come back. Guys, thanks for listening. Hope you get something out of it, some sort of entertainment. And I'll see you in the next one. Please like and subscribe, share, thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever floats your boat. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.